I gotta wait. We're late. We're also on a brand new channel. Welcome to episode 470 of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh. Brawler, what's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going? Crawler coming at you.
Johnny, what's up?
What's up?
And Cheesy, how's it going?
What's going on, cheese curds? I'm a little under the weather or allergies or I don't know what it is, but we're here. We're live.
We are here. And we are live, and we got a bunch of new friends in the live show with us. Guys, we are doing this. If you're listening to the audio and you want to join the lives, it's now on the Nintendo Powercast YouTube. That's where this show is going to be. And we're also going to start doing Let's Plays as soon as this show is over, where we're going to be playing like N64 games, just as many fun 4-player games as we can. We're probably going to lose Cheesy tonight just because he's a little under the weather, but we're gonna come up with something fun to do anyway. It's going to be a good time, and those will also be available to watch on this YouTube channel if you're not able to show up live, because we know it's late for some of you guys. But if you're on the West Coast,
me.
Yeah, if you're on the West Coast, we expect you to be here. So I'm just playing. I'm just kidding, guys. One thing before we jump into this, I am now an Elgato ambassador. So if you go to n64josh.com/Elgato, you can pick up all of your Elgato gear. But I'm going to tell you this: if you're in the market, give me a little bit of time, because I should have a code. I thought I'd have it today. It's not here yet, but I am going to have a code that'll give you guys a little bit of a discount. So again, just to let you guys know, I had people literally asking me today, like, I think I need to get a capture card. I'm like, here, go here. Like, I think I need to upgrade my lighting. Here, go to Elgato. So, so go and check that out. n64josh.com/Elgato. And before we go any further, Crawler, where can people find you?
Best spots are TikTok and Twitter, Nightcrawler724, Nightcrawlers without the E.
And Johnny, how about you?
I'm Johnny Bo everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and the Communication Error Podcast.
And Cheesy.
You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Communication Error Podcast, CheezyC64, CheezyC64.
I've never, this is the least amount of energy I've ever heard from you, and I'm not I'm not pointing a finger or anything like that. It's just, this is whether it's a cold or allergies, it is knocking you out, my friend. So we are sending you all of the good vibes.
It's all good.
He had a big show on Monday that he had a lot of energy for with Sean on Communication Error.
Oh yeah, that was a good episode. If people want to check out an episode with Sean Capri, who's part of Carpool Gaming, that was a fun one. No, but I was thinking about it, even though I'm not feeling well and I'm here, the show must go on. And so I'm trying to bring the energy as much as I can, but it's it's not fully there.
We're stoked you're here regardless. So we know you're giving it your all, and we appreciate it. So we're going to talk first about what we've been playing, because a bunch of indies dropped today. I didn't get a chance. I have been slammed all day long. It's been an amazing day, but I've been working my face off. And so, Brawler, you've been playing some new stuff. Let's go ahead and kick it off with you.
Yeah, I woke up this morning and I saw somebody post on Twitter, I don't know who it was, that the Animal Well review was out, and I was like, oh yeah, that thing. I had seen it in this. I think it was in the sizzle reel on the last direct, and not a whole lot was said about it, but I know that it was getting some buzz, and I decided just to kind of pull the trigger on it. Metroidvania, but there's no real kind of story baked into it. It kind of just throws you right into it. It's kind of a puzzle platform Metroidvania, and it's been fun. That's kind of what I've been doing most of today. I was off today. My daughter had surgery, so I was kind of in hospital waiting room and just kind of Switch was great for that. I had it downloaded in the morning and it was good to go. So that's
It's super
kind of,
small. It took like 5 seconds to download.
yeah, it was very. I mean, there's just kind of background music. There's no voice acting or anything. There's barely any words on screen. So, but yeah, it's really good. It's you get different tools to kind of do stuff. I have a slinky and a frisbee and a bubble wand and some other stuff. And you kind of, I don't even know what you're playing as.
You're like a
a
slime.
blob, yeah. So it's fun. I mean, it's up on the eShop right now. I think it was like $22.50 or something like that, 10% off. I think Johnny's been playing it as well. I've been having fun with it. The map is kind of big and surprisingly like how much I've explored without even really thinking about it. So it's been fun.
Amazing. Good to hear it. Johnny, what have you had your hands in?
Yeah, I mean, I was playing Animal Well a little bit before the show. Played for about an hour, and it's good. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do in it. Like
Collect eggs. That's all you're doing.
you collect eggs. I don't know. Clear rooms. There was a room where it was like take a disc, and it looked like a little frisbee, and you take it, and it reminded me of the mask in Super Mario Bros. 2.
Oh, okay.
This ghost fox
Dog,
thing,
like dog,
yeah, I don't know what
fox,
it
something.
like chases you, and I'm like, what the heck am I supposed to do with this? And then it turned. I won't spoil. I guess I won't spoil. I won't.
I got there just a little while ago. Yeah, it was like, oh, I know where this goes.
Yeah, and
That's
then I
cool.
found it's fun just exploring. It's very chill. There's like you do have health, and you can die, but it's
That
not
iguana was kind of annoying,
the iguana. I don't know if I even found the iguana.
or gecko, whatever it was with its tongue.
I don't know if if I even did that part.
Okay,
I found a unicorn in the water.
I don't know if I've done that. That's
I
the
love
thing.
this.
You can go
I
so many
love
different
it.
directions. Yeah.
Seems like you do different things. I don't know what the objective is. I don't know what it is.
I think it's to fill that peacock room up with eggs. I think that's really what the objective is.
But I also been not a Nintendo Switch game, but it will come to Nintendo
It will
Switch
be.
2 guaranteed. And that is Hades 2 came out in early access, and it is so good.
Do we
It
think
is
that
so
can
good.
play on Switch as is right now?
Probably. It runs I'm playing on Steam Deck. It runs fine on Steam Deck.
I mean,
But
Hades
it's
was such a big
good.
deal on Switch. Switch was the exclusive home for it on console for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's technically in early access now, but based on the reviews, it's bigger. It's as big or bigger than the original game.
Are there more weapons?
Well, I don't know how many weapons there are. I have 4 unlocked right now.
Because I think there were 6 in Hades.
Yeah, I think so. Cheesy would know more, but I do think there was 6. Your character is a witch. So like a lot of the gameplay surrounds like concocting spells and your weapons are more ranged based as opposed to what they were in Hades. They did change. It is a little weird. Like if you played Hades, it's a little weird to get used to because in Hades you have a dash, and now in Hades 2 you have a sprint, and the boons are different.
Is it still
But
the
there's
same
no
kind of
dash?
gods?
There is a dash, but it's called sprint, not it doesn't have the same type of effects as Hades 1. All the gods are most of the gods are the same. There are new gods. There's Hephaestus. I think that's the name. I don't know. Then there's like a moon god.
Nady, nay, I'm looking at you right now. It's not pre-recorded.
I gotta pause it real quick and just back the chat up. This is my favorite thing, Johnny. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Johnny looks familiar, and then dude in the bottom left looks kind of familiar. I don't know. I might be tripping. And then yeah, I've seen Johnny on TikTok loads. I think right. So I love it. I love
I'm
it.
super famous, so that's like of course you've seen me because I'm super famous.
That's true. That's true. No, I just love it. We're having some fun in the chat tonight. So, Cheesy, did you get into Big Kitty Little City? Little Kitty Big City?
Not today. I wanted to, but it just didn't happen. I was playing more of Another Crab's Treasure. I'm pretty sure I'm on like the last boss, and that is just kicking my butt. But
Does it
it's a
make
very
your Switch
fun
hot?
game. What was that?
Is your Switch getting hot playing it?
No, I mean it's doing all right, but and I think there actually was an update for it today. I don't know what updated, but I had to download something before I could start the software. But yeah, I mean I want to get into Little Kitty Big City. Heard it's pretty fun, pretty much what you expect it to be, like an Untitled Goose Game. Animal Well also looks fun, and I mean I knew of it just because it's like Donkey's game. But then
He didn't make it. He owns the publishing company that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Donkey didn't make it.
But he's he's tied to it.
He published it, essentially published it.
Okay. But like also just all the reviews that were coming out that were like, this is the best game I've played in like a decade. It's pretty crazy that it's getting that kind of response already. So I definitely want to check it out.
Love it. Love it. Did you get your hands on anything else over the last week?
No,
No,
that's it.
just that.
Just
I wish
Another
I could
Crab's
say
Treasure. Another
I
Crab's
do-
Treasure honestly has been so much fun, and that's been my first like Souls-like experience.
Oh, okay.
And people
now
were
you got it. Now you got to get them all.
I know people were calling it like baby's first Souls-like. I don't think so, man. That's a tough game.
Well, it's baby's first Souls like if you turn on and give the crab a gun, probably, right?
True.
I do want to point something out. Bubblegum Dog in the chat says, "I need to play Another Crab's Treasure. Seems hella fun." They screwed it up. It should be, "I need to play Another Crab's Treasure. Seems shella fun." There's a lot of puns in
there
that
it is.
game. There's a lot of puns in that game.
Yeah.
You've been playing Endless Ocean still, Johnny?
I have not picked up. I have not played since last week.
Since
I
there's
was playing Hades too, and
yeah, that was what like stealthily came out on, was that Monday morning?
it was Was it Monday?
Was it Monday? I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember.
I've seen some people take some pretty cool screenshots though of Endless Ocean, just like some of the things that they're finding and the poses. That
I'm excited to
they
see
make.
what the shared dive is. There's supposed to be a shared dive.
Oh, so everyone that probably owns that game can get in 32, right?
Well, it's called an event dive. I don't know. That's messed up. It's called an event dive. It's supposed to you're supposed to be able to find creatures that you can't normally find. So I'll check that out. I think that's over the weekend.
I heard IGN's review. Who's their editor now for Nintendo over at IGN? He was talking about it, and you get to like level 4 or something like that, and it wants you to find all of the there's like 99 randomly generated things that you have to go find, and that's how you advance out of that level. Like the story mode is a joke, it seems.
Yeah, I played like 2 of the story modes.
Yeah.
Chat just wants to know.
3.
2 of the levels. I mean,
Chat wants to know: is it a cozy game that is relaxing?
it is. It definitely is. If you like water, fish, and scanning stuff.
Sounds like my kind of game.
Also, Cryptic in the chat says, "When am I ordering the one chip?" I'm not. I don't have to right now.
Yeah, we're safe.
Yet.
I'm not part of this, but Johnny's safe right now. And looking at their financials, they're not touting any games coming out here in the near future either.
So we should talk about it. We should talk about the stuff that happened this week
There's so much.
at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Which day? This
I am
it off.
President
Yesterday?
Fuka. I don't even know. I don't want to butcher his name. I am the president. We shall release information about the new Switch.
by
Soon.
end of fiscal year.
It was like a
2024.
threat. It's like, why are you threatening me at 3 a.m?
Well, I mean, yeah. What the tweet read that the Switch 2 successor will be announced this fiscal year. So, where does that put your guys' like? When do you think it's coming out at that point? Like, what do you think?
Is there a day first off? Is there a day for Grand Theft Auto yet, or are they just early?
No, just said 2025.
Just 2025. Do we think that that's going to be early? I don't think so,
No,
right?
no. There's a
That'll be
rumor
like
that it got
October?
delayed. That it got delayed out of
No,
2025.
I mean, probably same kind of timetable. Showcase in January, release in March. Because did they say
that's what I'm
out?
thinking.
Did they say out by fiscal year 2024?
No, they said they'll share
Announce.
information or. Well, I don't want to butcher it. Somebody will rip us in the reviews.
I mean, because
Oh.
that 2 month
They're gonna anyway.
because
Leave a review. 5-star reviews, please.
that 2 month lead up to it was like what, January 15th or something like that, 2017, and then it came out early March. Like the pre-orders went crazy, and it was hard to get a Switch.
Yeah, I hope that they do another like investors direct that they did. I think it was like January 11th, 2017, just a couple months before the Switch.
So the tweet says, "This is Furukawa, president of Nintendo. We will make an announcement about the successor of the Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of Nintendo Switch back in March of 2015. We'll be holding a Nintendo Direct this June regarding the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the latter half of 2024, but please be aware that there will be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor during that presentation." I don't believe him.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just gonna ride the hype train. We're seeing the Switch too.
No.
Nobody's gonna see it. We all just get to put our hands in a box and we get to feel it.
They're gonna show us who's that Pokemon style, just like
Why did I literally just think about the movie Seven? Like,
What's in the box?
What's in the
what's in the box?
what's in the box?
I think I might have that one.
Oh my!
So I have a feeling that they'll announce it in October, like they did with this. Well, they'll do like the first reveal trailer in October, like they did with the Switch, then have the January presentation, and then release it in March. IGN posted an article. I think they were wrong. They said that the Switch successor won't release before April 1st, 2025. But they were going off of, because I guess they asked them, like the projection for the Nintendo Switch is 13.5 million. And they asked them if that included the Switch successor, and they said no. So they're like assuming that means we're not getting a Switch 2 within the fiscal year.
I'm gonna grab a comment real quick. Cryptic says, "So this is the first Nintendo Direct proper in 2 years since last year's was a partner showcase. Do we not think something big is coming?"
Well, I also find it interesting that this is like the first time that they've announced a Direct like months ahead, right? Have we ever known of a Direct that was officially announced by them this like
They painted themselves into a corner, though. There's nothing out on the books after Luigi's Mansion 2. Nothing.
Well, but now there is
now there is July
Nintendo
18th.
World Championship.
Yeah. But I mean, that's not enough of a
No, I
thing
agree.
to. But I mean, they painted themselves into a corner. They have to discuss. They bought themselves a little bit of time having that come out. What was that? Wednesday, I think that got announced in the morning, and then it was up for pre-order by that afternoon. I'm kind of confused by the Japanese one, and I'm debating whether or not I want to make a Japanese Amazon account and order it because I don't know if it comes. Does it come with the Famicom?
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
How are they getting that in that bundle for the same kind of price that we are?
They aren't getting a gold cart.
Oh,
Not that. I mean, it's a. I don't know if that. I think. I think it's a display. I don't.
I have a crystal one for.
No, it definitely works in your NES. You should put it in.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Let me
I
let me
have
blow
it.
the dust out.
I have a crystal NES cart for
Fire
what's it
Emblem.
called? Yeah, that I don't even know. I think I boxed up all my special editions that are over there. But yeah, I mean, it's another thing. I got it at Best Buy. It's ready for Best Buy made me ship it first, and then I was able to change it to store pickup like later in the day.
So people are assuming that since the projection is 13.5 million for the year, that there's something big coming. But I just think that's wishful thinking.
Prime 4, right? It's still
But
it's on their stuff as TBD.
would they be like, oh yeah, we're only gonna sell like 2 million more Switches, so we're gonna lose
Yeah.
money this
Well,
year?
they
Like, would
gotta
they
put a-
really say that? They wouldn't say that.
They got to put a Kirby out to kill it off officially.
I mean, we talked about that on Communication Error. There is a game that is a codename Banquet. People are predicting that it's a Kirby game.
So Johnny, what are your rules if it's a if it's a remake? So like Prime 2 and 3, does that count?
No, it can't be a remake or remaster, and it can't be Prime 4.
Yeah, I gave him Prime 4.
Okay.
So speaking of Prime 4, Cryptic asks, would you be disappointed now if Prime 4 is a Switch game, or since we now know when a Switch 2 is being announced, should they hold it? Okay, I don't know that this is going to be a very popular opinion, but I don't think Prime 4 is even like close to coming out on this Switch.
Not even close. It's been like 5 years.
They were hiring for stuff like a year ago, like
Yeah.
story stuff like a
Mhm.
year ago.
So the reason I think it will come to Switch is because they announced it for the Switch. So they said Metroid Prime 4 is coming to the Switch.
Yeah, well, they also
way back in
announced
the
that
day.
the Switch was or Metroid
Yeah,
Prime
they-
4 was coming out, and then they started over development.
I think
They
I have
also
that
announced
pre-ordered
Breath
at
of the
Best Buy.
Wild was coming to Wii U,
It did come to Wii U
did.
though.
but not Switch, right? Like it was a Wii U announcement,
yeah.
and then it got changed. So it's not beyond them to do something like that. What if?
Yeah, I think it's in a tough spot just because we all know Metroid doesn't sell very well. It's starting to, like, Dread is the best seller. So
Still
it's-
less than 1-2 Switch. You see that list?
yeah, but I mean it's 3 million. That's pretty impressive for Metroid.
Nope. If it doesn't sell more than 1-2 Switch, it's not impressive.
I mean,
That's how you get a sequel, right?
Yeah, that's how you get a sequel.
so but Metroid Prime 4, like, is that going to be a new successor seller?
If it's ready, you know where I think it sits, because I firmly believe that 2025 will be a repeat of 2017. I think this is a calm before the storm. And I think Metroid Prime 4 would sit perfectly where ARMS sat.
What was
Right.
that? That was June.
I think it was like a June release.
I
around
hope
there.
if Metroid Prime 4 is a Switch 2 or whatever Switch successor game, I hope there's no other big launch game next to it. And then it will give people, like, it will be the game that they have to buy. And then
That's a
you
good point.
have Mario Kart like the next month or 2 months later, or you have a 3D Mario a couple months down the line. Kind of like how Breath of the Wild, Zelda, it sold a lot, but before
sold more
Breath
than
of
the
Wild,
It sold more than the Switch for a
Yeah.
little bit.
before Breath of Wild, the highest selling Zelda game didn't reach like 10 million copies. And now Breath of Wild reached 30 million copies. So if they really want to boost the Metroid franchise, they launch it alongside nothing else. Except for 1, 2, 3 Switch.
So what, Breath of the Wild came out in March, and then Mario Kart, did that come out in April?
Yeah, Mario Kart in April.
Okay.
It was late April. It was like the last week.
Yeah.
Was ARMS next and then Splatoon? Is that
ARMS
how it
was
went?
in June. I don't remember. Something had to be in May.
I don't know.
Snipper clips. No, I think that was the launch.
That was a
wasn't it?
launch.
Yeah, that
title.
was launch.
title.
That was great.
But ARMS was June, then Splatoon was July, then it was like
Yeah.
Mario plus Rabbids,
Yeah.
and then maybe Xenoblade 2.
Xenoblade 2 is December.
Or
December.
was that December? I forget.
Yeah.
Well, Odyssey came out. In
Odyssey
Odyssey
was
was
in
in
October.
October. Something had to be in September. Because they did one game per month.
Was there? Did they leave room for like Skyrim?
No, that was early. That was early window though, because that was in like the reveal sizzle reel. But I don't know.
I'm taking a quick look here. We got was it Pokken Tournament?
Yep, that was first
What
year.
about Hyrule Warriors? How early was that?
That was the second. Well, no,
Pokken
because that
came
was a
out in
Wii. That was a
September.
Wii U. That was a Wii U.
Pokken.
Was September. Pokken was.
Yeah,
So it looks like I'm just looking at
and
this.
that
We
was a
got
Wii. That
Odyssey.
was a Wii U game too.
Was
Yep.
Let's Go the first? Was Let's Go in November?
It might have been. Was that
Let's
the first
Go
year?
was in 2018.
Yeah, it was the next
second
year. Yeah, looking at the main list of like first party, you've got and exclusives or whatever. Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8, ARMS, Snipper Clips, Splatoon, Mario plus Rabbids, Xenoblade, and Pokken.
Okay, I have it. I figured it out. Here's the
And
launch lineup.
1-2 Switch.
Here's the launch
yeah.
lineup for the Switch 2. We got Metroid Prime 4 in March. We got Mario
Wait,
Kart.
hold on. You're saying Metroid
there's
Prime 4 is...
There's a 3D Mario at launch.
No. Hold on. Hold on. We got Mario Kart 10 in April. Animal Crossing in May. Splatoon 4 in June. ARMS 2 in July. Mario plus Rabbids 3 in August.
You think they're making another?
No.
Star Fox Zero HD Deluxe in September. Then 3D Mario in October.
No way.
Then
No
Twilight
way.
Princess Wind Waker HD in November. And then Xenoblade 4 in December. There you go. That's perfect.
Xenoblade 4.
I do wonder, though. I was kind of with Johnny on the Mario in October because that's when they've been releasing their Mario games or Luigi game or whatever, something equivalent to Mario. Do you think they'll do that with the successor?
No, if they're not going to have a Zelda game ready, it's going to be Mario. It's been 7 years by that time since a Mario game.
Almost 8 years.
It's a 3D Mario game. So
The only thing we've seen is Bowser's Fury was the only thing that was like new 3D Mario.
and that was a
content.
proof of concept.
It sort of seemed like, yeah.
So
It's
let's
gonna-
talk. Oh, go ahead, Josh.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say we should talk about Nintendo World Champion that just got announced for
Actually,
July 18th.
I
This-
showed it to my 10-year-old.
There you go.
And the first question out of his mouth, I call all of you guys on Discord just because I was laughing so hard. I was driving home with him in the car. His question was, "Is it all old timey games?"
Well, when you think about it, those games are 30 plus years old.
He goes, "Back when Mario was pixelated," and I was like, "Yeah, it's only old timey games."
He's not wrong.
I was like, let me teach you how to old timey walk back home. So I have a feeling my opinion on this is going to shock you guys a little bit. I love it, and I also don't.
because
feels-
they Nintendo'd it and they can't do online.
It's not only that. Johnny said it too, is like, why aren't there modern games on this? Like, we could do Super Mario World, we could do like even like they could do little speed runs of Dread and Wonder and all these, like they could make it a modern version.
And they had that at the dojo. We played it.
Yeah.
We played it.
Yeah. But the other thing that boggles my mind that has not hit the Switch, and this seems like it would have been in a great place to do it, is NES Remix 1 and 2. It's essentially this, but way more. Like way more. This seems more like a collector's piece that, like, you know, like it hits in the nostalgia. I don't want to come across like I have this like a complete like love-hate thing for it. Like in this lull that we have with games, I wish it was so much more that everybody's going to want to get in on, right? If it was NES Remix and it had like online and leaderboards and stuff like that, I think you would see so many more people get into it. Or even if it wasn't NES, but Super NES Remix, right? Just kind of something that would get a little more people involved and excited about it versus like, this is, I know this word, take a drink, guys, but it's niche, right? I know it's Nintendo, but like kids that grew up on the Wii are going to be like, what? Or, you know, put this in front of you, like you said, your 10-year-old, and he's going to be like, okay, he's going to do the same thing all of us do when we get our Nintendo Switch Online. We update it, go, I remember that, and then we don't, and then we don't play
click
it,
on it,
right?
Yeah.
Then
At least that has online
so.
functionality.
Yeah, where you can play. So, like, the fact that the only multiplayer in this thing is local and it's up to 8. Did you see the screen when it was just 5 of them playing? It shrunk your screen down super tiny. That looks no fun with 8 people, let alone, I mean, why not? How is Nintendoing this so hard that they just can't? The online works for NES Online, SNES Online, all that stuff. Like we're playing on the couch together. Do that for all your games. Do it.
I cannot wait to make content where 8 of us stand around a Switch on a rooftop playing Nintendo World Championship together,
So-
and nobody can see anything.
The online are the
It's
leaderboards not online?
It's leaderboards. That's all it is.
Okay,
And
but
and
there
weekly
is-
challenges. So like I think they do, like it seemed like from the articles and stuff, or the press release that they did, it's like weekly challenges will take place. Like be the first to get, like, how quickly can you collect the first mushroom in Super Mario Brothers, and like stuff like that.
Well, I saw somebody post a comment that was just like, "Hey, you can just play these games on NSO and then start a timer on your phone." And that's what this game is.
Yeah, but you don't get the dopamine hit of getting the A and the S rank.
Yeah.
Is there any unlocks or anything, or no?
Let me say this, guys. When Crawler and Nate and I did the dojo at Nintendo Live,
Did you? We haven't seen any video
Where
on that yet.
I was that driving.
we're probably
home
the reason
other day,
they didn't put the video out.
because it was us just doing hot.
You're
laps
probably the
through it.
reason that we're getting the NES championships and not the dojo championships. They're like, we don't want these old timers
Right.
ruining the fun for the kids.
These
I hear
old
it.
timies.
But there was like, I will never forget sitting down and having to beat a level in Lost Levels.
Yeah, you
And like, I mean, I full on like transported myself back to the wizard and was like, here we go, you know, let California, like,
Right.
let's do this thing.
Nate's talking to chat. He's got the video of me. Nothing I did. Nintendo, like the people at Nintendo just decided to give it to me we were playing what, Mario Classic on that one.
Yeah, just Mario Brothers,
And
just
I
a
think
straight up Mario
you
Brothers.
beat me, and the other kid beat both of
Yeah,
us.
right,
And they
exactly.
gave it to me.
Yep.
And I don't know.
That's
I
why
don't
the
know
video.
why.
That's why there's no videos, because the judges messed up so bad. So
I won legit on Dr. Mario. That was fun. You had lost levels. Nate, did you get on stage? I think you did, at least once, right?
I believe he did. He can answer us in
I
chat
think
here
he did.
shortly.
I think
But
there was one of them that was 3D World, and there was one that was Smash that was pretty entertaining as well. Like they
right,
had like you and I got all old timey games, quote unquote,
right.
but they had some interesting remix kind of situations with more current games. Like it with the 3D. I think he did 3D World. Yeah, he's saying he had 3D World, and it was one of those cherry kind of levels where you split and you had to do kind of all the zip pads or whatever that changed color when you ran on them. Like it was a race to the finish of that like clown house or whatever it was in 3D World. It
Yeah.
was a race to the finish, and it was that was just a snippet of that level like turned into a race, and it worked.
And
So,
and
yeah.
and don't get me wrong, gamifying the games like this, there's gonna be some fun. Like I'm honestly excited about it. Like as soon as they said, like, you know, I could probably beat Mario, like especially the first couple levels, minutes. I'm talking minutes. I don't have to let go of the B button. As a kid, I could do it with my eyes closed. It was like this is what we did. So like it's muscle memory, right? It's that's going to be fun. There's going to be elements that are fun. I feel like it's a little bit niche for, like, it's really a nostalgia pull, right? And it in a sense, I feel like it leaves some people out. And I feel like something like, even though NES Remix was still just NES, they did such quirky things to it that it makes it made it like kind of new, you know?
Yeah.
Though
And
I'm wondering,
go ahead.
I'm wondering if by them putting out these NES games, it's going to introduce them to new players. If maybe the popularity, or it's like almost they're testing which series gets played enough to where they can make more games. You know, because I think isn't Kid Icarus?
You think this is a Trojan horse to spy on us with what games we want to play?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really know how that would work, but
So I do want to call
leaderboards.
somebody out in the chat. Uncle Jeeb is in the chat, and they were talking about this. Jeeb did not know this was a real thing. Like the
Like
NES
Nintendo
World
World
Championships
Championships?
were a real thing. They happened in
times.
1990 and 2017. I remember they announced Earthbound Beginnings, I think, in 2017.
And at the 2019 one, like they included some more current games. Like they had Samus Returns on 3DS as one of the challenges.
2017.
Was that 2017?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, well, was 2019 the one that was all bad with the Smash? Was that tied in? That was tied in with that where they cut away. Was that one?
It might have been. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if
one
it was
in
a world
2015.
championship, but yeah.
And then they had Smash stuff tied with it as well, and they're like, oh yeah, the lag is part of the lag is only on your end on the stream. They aren't experiencing it here. And then they cut away from it. We'll have to find that clip and put this somewhere. But yeah, I'm sure Nintendo has scrubbed that from the internet if they could. But
I wonder if this means that they're going to do it again. Like if they're going to have another
I would hope so.
live championship.
My question is, it's 1 year away from the 35th anniversary. So why is it coming out right now? Like, it seems so strange, right? Like, it does not.
Well, next year's 40 years for Mario, right? Are we there already? 85 to 25?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those old timey games.
That's the theme of tonight. Is old timey games.
it's pretty crazy that it's getting a deluxe set, right? Like a collector's edition.
And it's
Wait,
it's
it's
cool
called
stuff
deluxe.
in there.
Is it called deluxe?
It's art prints, I think, for all 13 games that it has, and then pins, and then
I think it's called deluxe. Yes.
I don't know.
Hold on. We're looking
I
at. I'm looking
bought
at
it already at Best Buy, but
Oh, did you? So
Yeah.
for me, I guess like looking at this game, I'm like, yeah, it looks fun. It could be a good time.
deluxe set is what it's called.
God, it is deluxe. But my birthday is July 18th, so I think I'll probably get
Are you
that
gonna get
for my
the
birthday, or somebody
physical
will get
or
it for me.
the digital?
The physical.
I'll probably end up getting
Like
both.
you gotta pre-order it. You're gonna have to pre-order it because it's gonna sell out
I know.
Pre-orders have sold out,
on Best Buy.
and GameStop.
No. It's you can still get it on pre-order on Best Buy right now.
Oh, when I went back and checked the day of, it was sold out.
It's still got
So-
a yellow green lit up button that I can click.
Oh, that's good. It had gone away later in the day, so
Me being the shill I am, I'm gonna get both.
I probably will too.
I probably won't open
Don't buy it with your with your
If it's on the voucher system, oh my god! If it's on the voucher
Hopefully
system,
they don't make it available for your voucher to be redeemed. But
wait, it's up for pre-order. I can check right now.
That's
I
a
can
cash
check right
grab
now.
on if they have it available. That's a cash grab on their end.
well, and that
Would you?
Cryptic says the physical edition is very cool, and in Japan they're getting the Famicom controllers as well with theirs. So that that is pretty.
So
Does
all
that
right,
speaker
looking at the art. Do you guys remember the Sega collection, Sega Genesis collection
on Switch.
I think I
on
have
Switch?
Yeah,
It's the same exact art. They just are they stealing it from Sega?
No, it's 90fied. It's 90s-ified.
yeah.
That's just what it is.
It's Nintendo trying to do what Nintendo or what Sega. I can't make it work. But
I don't think you use the voucher. So there you go.
Chat wants to know what we think about the $30 digital and the $60 physical. I mean, it has
There's-
pins. Charge me $70.
Yeah, pins and art and a paperweight.
It's got plastic
I'm
and pins.
never gonna see those physical things. They're just gonna stay sealed. So I don't care.
I still haven't opened my Zelda Collector's Edition. It's still sealed.
There you go.
At least when this was announced and I was seeing tweets come out about it again, I was having PTSD flashbacks about Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I was like, this is going to be bad, especially if Nintendo's going to make it only on their website.
Yeah, at least
But
it's
then-
not only on its website.
And then Wario64 tweeted about Best Buy, and I was like, oh, okay, it's available everywhere. Because Nintendo cannot handle a pre-sale and of limited quantity. They've butchered it.
This would have been a perfect shadow drop. I don't know why they didn't.
Mars, we see you. Just wanted to point that out. Not only Cryptic, we see you.
We should talk about Animal Crossing because there's a lot of Animal Crossing going on in the chat.
So let me ask this, because this will, Nintendo's not. I think 2025 has the potential to be another 2017, but this is gonna take us down a rabbit hole. One, what big hitters do they launch, and then what smaller titles do they sprinkle in? How far out are games like Animal Crossing? Does Smash Bros get a deluxe this time around? And is this a potential, like, they saw what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did? So, hey, which games from the Switch are not going to be ready even maybe during this life cycle? Like,
Do a barrel roll.
there you go. Little Star Fox.
It's gonna come back.
So-
It's gonna come back.
Star
It
Fox
very-
Zero Deluxe coming out.
No, not that.
It very well could, but I mean, so what games do we think are gonna come out? Where do you think Animal Crossing fits in that mix? Is it a year one, or is it something Nintendo waits for the install base, And the question I really, really want to hear from you guys is: are we going to hear the verbiage, the Nintendo Switch family of systems, and they're gonna keep supporting the OG Switch for a long time? And I say a long time because if you think what Sony did with PS2, there were still games being released on that system years after the PlayStation 3 had come out, and maybe
Well,
chat
we're
can even
still getting
confirm.
PlayStation 4 games right now. Like
I
my
know.
PlayStation 5 is barely
Well,
exclusive, and same with Xbox. It's
I,
like
I I will say this about what Nintendo has done versus what Xbox and Sony have done. They have come out with their marketing. Sony's PS5 box says 8K on it. Like, how many people even have those TVs, and
that
what
TV's
games?
like $15,000.
Yeah, and what games are utilizing that? And then
they struggle at 4K 60.
exactly. And so Nintendo puts themselves in a far better position when you can have a game like Fortnite running on the Switch and also runs on the Xbox, right? So they could literally dumb games down for the OG systems for a while and still have them running buttery smooth on the next Switch. And that, like, then they have a Switch family of games. But we also, from what we believe anyway, is that the Switch 2 carts are going to be different. So they will have to drop it at some point. But I mean, if they do a price drop of all of the mainline systems by $50 to $75 or something like that,
They'll catch PS2. They'll beat PS2.
they'll destroy it. And you put one more Pokemon game out, and maybe even maybe Mario Kart comes out on both systems. And I know, believe me, as I've said this on different shows, and the kickback and people are like, I don't want it holding back my new system, but Nintendo doesn't care about bleeding edge. Mario Kart looks amazing, and it's a 10-year-old game. Odyssey looks amazing. Luigi's Mansion looks amazing. They all look fantastic. And we don't even think about the fact that they're not 4K 120. I guess there are people that do.
The internet does.
There are people that do, right? But I mean, Mario Kart doesn't really dip in its frame rate. It's pretty. That's pretty solid. It's been solid.
It's just netcode.
How's that online though?
Well, the netcode is a joke, but I mean, it's so frustrating when you're like nowhere near somebody and then you get hit by their trailed item. But that's just the way it goes. So
you were there somewhere on the internet in internet land to register that.
You brought up Pokemon. Do you think that they would release Pokemon on the OG Switch and then the successor as well? Like if it's a new game?
No, it just works on the successor.
Only exclusively.
No. It's a Switch title, but it works on the new Switch.
Well,
I think Pokemon has already told us that Switch games are still going to be coming out.
And they said Legends
Za,
yeah,
bro,
is a Nintendo Switch game. So
yeah, that's true.
But that's early. Is that
they just said 2025, I think. So I mean, the easiest thing to sell the system would be a Mario Kart. They could do that cross gen. I think that would be fine. I think enough of the early So the thing what they have to do is they have to get these evergreen titles on the new system as fast as possible. Like, it doesn't matter when they release Mario Kart. We're still seeing it being in the top 10 best sellers.
It sold
for
8
the
million
Nintendo
this
Switch
last
every year.
I think I had the.
It's Nintendo's best-selling game ever. Outside, best-selling game outside of Wii Sports was bundled, right? So there's more out in the wild, but as far as its selling games, it's the best.
8.1 this last year. 8.1.
Yeah, so get that on the system as fast as possible. Maybe they do a cross-gen release, but then all of the updates, the new content, will be on the successor instead of on the old console.
So Cryptic says, I do not trust Nintendo's advertising and messaging when it comes to consoles. I hope it's not in Switch family.
They already said it was.
But and they've had that in the past with 3DS family of systems, right?
Yeah, but they all were the same cart. It wasn't like the DS.
No, they had a system that could only play certain games. The new could only play. You couldn't play Hyrule Warriors.
There were two games, I
Xenoblade
believe,
Chronicles.
and Minecraft. So maybe three. There might have been another, but yeah.
Binding of Isaac. That was one of them. It was random.
and
Super Nintendo
and
games.
and DSware with the Super Nintendo, which was weird that
Yeah, but that was the 3DS and new 3DS. Like that was two different things.
yeah,
Where that was like the
this
same.
is
That was
gonna
like
be,
the same system.
but this is going to be two different things.
They said the Switch next model is the appropriate way to describe it. So it's a Switch.
I don't know. We also don't want a Wii U situation, right? Like, I see a lot of debate about, is it Switch 2? Is it Super Switch?
Hope it's not Switch 2.
It should
And
be.
see,
It should be switched to. It makes so much sense.
That's where I'm at also, but I see people with like just what Cheesy said is like, I hope it's not. I hope
If
it's
it's
not
Switch
that.
attached, it's going to be a Wii U situation.
Do you really believe that it's Switch attached?
Well, that's like the room. That's like the main rumor.
From that YouTube survey, right?
And if it is magnetic Joy-Con, that would make sense.
Mars had a question here. Are we going? I hope we aren't going to have to pay. Johnny's going to go broke if we have to pay to bring titles from Switch to new Switch.
So I did you only had to pay like $1 or $2. And they did update it to like the Wii. So from the Wii to the Wii U, you could move your virtual console games and it would update them to have like the rewind save states. So you pay $1 and you get all the updated features.
And then
or you just have them
erased it from your
there.
Wii, and your Wii just became a GameCube.
I can't like, we know statistically that only 5% of game sales were physical. There will be pitchforks if Nintendo says you've got to pay to move your digital library when there are literally people that only have digital libraries. Like, I can't.
Well, and the numbers are staggering with what the conversion on digital. Like the three out of the four of us are unicorns when it comes to buying our games physically, because
I'd pay whatever they want. No, if it is a next gen upgrade, like if I have to pay $10 to upgrade it to the next gen, I'd be fine with that. If I have to buy it again for $70, that would be a little annoying.
So
Purpose is asking 5% of Switch games or all games, including PC and mobile. The chart was from, I believe his first name is Pat something on. He's like an analyst on X that puts out a ton of great information, and all the report showed is that for 2023, 5% of all game purchases were physical.
I think it was revenue. It was game revenue.
It was 5% of the revenue.
Yeah, which would make sense because then you would have all of the microtransactions and DLC.
That's true.
In that digital
Yeah,
revenue.
maybe that's, and I don't have it in front of me right now. But
and
So I always thought it was like 50-50 with the physical.
it's
digital.
up to for Switch, which I think is overwhelmingly gonna be a disproportionate amount of people that still are physical compared to Xbox and PlayStation. Fiscal year 2024 quarter 4 was up to 59.5% digital.
So I mean, Nintendo is obviously driving those physical numbers. There's no question there, right? I don't think any of us doubt that. But regardless, if you're on Xbox, you're probably doing Game Pass. You're not buying another physical game unless you're really into something and you want the special
Yeah,
edition.
we don't want to talk about how. All right, so here's a game that I think they should release on the Switch too. Launch here, Hi-Fi Rush. Is that too soon?
What's going on over at Xbox?
The worst part about Xbox is they close those studios and they come out and they say, we just need to make smaller award-winning games.
Like Hi-Fi
Hi-Fi
Rush.
Rush literally fits that bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only physical game I bought for Xbox recently, back when Elden Ring came out, it was so I could get the Melania statue because I think it was on sale. Because I already had it on PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've bought a physical game on this since I bought the Series X. I don't think I've picked up one, And even when it comes to Switch games, if it's first party, I'm probably double dipping because it's just the convenience of having the game with me all the time. Well, I like seeing the collection of games and stuff. Like that's like I enjoy that. But like,
Johnny, is your account on all like 8 of those Switches that you throw in the trash every other week?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. No, I think I do set them up. I think I do.
Do you know which one is your home Switch anymore?
Yeah. It's the original. It's the original OLED. No matter what, I set them up, and then I have my Zelda Switch, I have my Mario Switch, Splatoon Switch. They're all series based,
And they're in that trash can next to you, right?
They were today, just like my Skyward Sword Joy-Con in the garbage today.
Oh man, you're just doing that to upset Uncle Jeeb.
Was that saved B-roll? It looked like the same time. Are you re-recording?
No,
that
it's
every
always.
time?
I'm re-recording it all the time. It's all new content. Crawler, what are you talking about?
So, Cryptic had something in the chat earlier. Said, I know they announced Twitter was getting removed from Switch. Do you see any other services coming down? I think they are migrating some of these over to a new Switch to UI.
So, I think that has nothing to do with it.
Neither.
It's because of the Twitch API. It's so expensive. Or not Twitch, Twitter API.
Twitter,
yeah.
It's like 40,000 a month.
Can we get access to what they need to do is update the app and let us access our gallery.
Yeah, that would be nice if you do it through the app.
Because it's super nice on Xbox. You just go into the Xbox app and your screenshots and your video recordings are just there.
Yeah.
Does the app stay around for the next system?
I hope not.
It just updated for Android.
It needs to morph into something else. It needs to be something more like what PlayStation and Xbox have, where the marketplace is readily available there. Your account is there. Your social presence is that you can pull stuff directly off the system. But
I mean, if they wanna fight these emulators, just let us play our libraries with the app.
You put the NSO app on
the NSO.
There you go.
Games on there, but I'm also thinking Dreamcast, right? Remember the little game in the
memory
controller,
card?
And I'm wondering, what if you could do a little some classic Pokemon or something like in that app that would help you.
How do we still not have classic Pokemon?
I don't know.
Pokemon Day this last
they're
year
waiting to charge
was
us $10 a pop. That's what they're doing. They're waiting.
It's gonna be a collection for $70.
Yeah, that's what's coming. That's one of the games coming out later this year. It's a collection for $180.
Mm-hmm. So our thumbnail said massive Nintendo leak, and we've only talked about just the news. So I know we're already an hour in. We're gonna. I don't think it's gonna take too long. This is from Nintendo Prime, which another Nintendo podcast. Go check out. We've kind of become friends with them. We're kind of going back and forth. We're gonna get him on the show here soon, and just a good bunch of dudes. But it's not family friendly. Just keep that in mind. So if you listen with your kids, in the car or something like that, just giving you fair warning. But they do great content over there. So, but he broke down a relatively big leak that came out today on Reset Era. Grain of salt, right, guys? It's just that time of year, and
so it faded away and then it came back roaring a little bit.
Yeah, it did. So here's what he says, and if you guys want to read along, I put it in the Discord as well. But it's the layman breakdown of today's leaks basically mean for the Switch 2 handheld, right above PS4. before DLSS, docked between PS4 Pro and Series S before DLSS, with more modern hardware than the former. RAM slower than the PS5 and the Xbox Series X in the speed department, but more capacity than XSS, and should have 10.5 to 11 gigs of RAM available to games going by Switch One's RAM allotment for its OS. Storage, UFS 3.1 max speed should be a hair under Xbox Series S and X, 2.1 gigs a second versus 2.4 gigs a second. Still plenty fast, even if not maxed out. Lines up with what Digital Foundry and Nate Drake heard about the decompression techniques and fast load times on the Breath of the Wild tech demo, respectively, for each source.
No mention of size of that though. That's write speed, but not size.
Yeah. So, just going off the beginning of this, having a PS4 in your hands, what?
Johnny's going for his Steam Deck.
I got one right here.
Yeah, and so,
Yeah.
like, kick us off then. I mean, if the next Switch was or is as powerful as that hardware, how are you going to feel about it?
I will be happy for the Nintendo games on it. For third-party games, I think it's still going to struggle. The
How
Steam
does
Deck,
Elden Ring do?
Elden Ring's fantastic. It's really good on the Steam Deck, but I also do think that was a PS4 game.
That's yeah.
I might be.
That's what we're talking about though.
But yeah, but I'm thinking about new games like
Okay.
Jedi Survivor doesn't work on Steam Deck. Like a lot of these PS5 and Xbox Series X games only, they don't really work on the Steam Deck. And also, if it's only slightly more powerful than the PS4, it comes out next year. We're 5 years into the PS5 life cycle. We're like 6-7 years behind already in power. So I think we're going to have a similar issue with third parties that the Switch has, that they're not going to put their games on there because they're going to have issues getting them to work.
What if that's not the case? What if, because we've seen time and time again, as they try to push the envelope on these consoles, they don't do it. They don't deliver. Right? I mean, think about like it was not the most recent consoles, but like think about like Cyberpunk when they tried to make that game run. It was horrible everywhere. Right? What if developers are realizing like, yo, this ain't it anymore? And I mean, we all played Xbox One and PS4, right? Like, do you feel like there was a major jump?
No.
And there's not been anything, because it took forever due to supply chain stuff to even get those new consoles out, to the point that Sony was re-pushing the PS4 during the first few years of the PS5. And if those games can all run on the Switch, short of like, I mean, even the original Switch got The Witcher to run. It's not gorgeous, but I mean, that's still a feat, right? And so, do we think that there are that many third parties that are that worried anymore about, like, I mean, you guys have played Helldivers. You think you could run on PS4 very well? Like,
Yeah.
It does run on PS4, I think, doesn't it?
I would assume so.
It is a PS4 game.
Yeah.
It doesn't run very well on the Steam Deck. I know that.
Yeah.
But that could also be because it's constant. It's peer to peer, and it's right. Is it peer to peer, or is it talking to a server? Still, regardless, it's a totally online game, so it's not. It could be some performance. It could be some networking. It could be a lot of things.
I'm just curious with the way game development is going and the way, if even companies like Xbox are saying we need smaller, award-winning games, they're gonna have no problem.
As they're firing people.
That to me makes me think that Sony's gonna have their massive cinematic games. Don't get me wrong. We know that everything Microsoft has purchased, especially with the ABK stuff, like that Call of Duty's got to run on the Switch in some way, shape, or form. Now they could just do Warzone Mobile, I'm sure, and it would probably be fine.
I do think third parties are going to be more open to putting their games on the Switch successor because they saw how well the Switch did. And I'm sure Activision has to be kicking themselves for not putting a Call of Duty on there.
I mean, possibly the mobile does so well that the cost may not have outweighed themselves to get it on the Switch, potentially, unless it was like just the Xbox 360 games that they ported over. But with their market research, maybe that showed that it wouldn't be all that profitable anyway. I don't know. I mean, I'm just curious on if that would be the case. But like, I don't feel, and I think you guys would all agree with, there has not been this massive like shift this generation, and the Switch potentially has the Switch 2 has the ability for those of us that mainly play Switch to be like, yo, there's major improvements here. Like Mario Kart with ray tracing, and what are they going to do in Metroid Prime 4, and what could a 3D Mario look like, and Luigi's Mansion running it to, potentially like, 1080 60 constant or 1080 120, like seems like it's possible, and it'll be awesome.
I think the look back on this current gen will be the advancement in load time and how you can go from one end of the city to the other in Spider-Man with like no load time. Like I think some of the devs even said they like had to add something in to like visually make it look like something was happening because it was happening so fast. The Switch successor could definitely use something like that, because something as simple as Peach Showtime has not great load times. So I mean, if we can advance stuff there, like that would be great.
What if Peach's Showtime was supposed to be a Switch 2 title, and that's literally running buttery smooth on those? Well, because we've heard there's the potential that the Switch 2 was delayed, right? Yep. That delay was pushed, and if Peach's Showtime is showing us that Switch games are going to run like that, but then run at their full potential on the Switch 2,
playable but not great, but wonderful on the Switch.
But is that enough of a jump? Or could they add more sparkle, right? Like, because it's built in Unreal, so I'm assuming they can. If you look at Fortnite on my Switch versus Fortnite on my Xbox, it's two different games, but you can play them. You can jump into games together. Cheesy, what do you think about all this? You look like you are like taking it all in, and you got some goods for us.
Yeah, no, I'm here, but I'm not here. I guess, I don't know. I was just thinking, like, one of the biggest games that's not on Switch that surprises me is The Sims. And that's just because of EA. Like, EA didn't give the Switch like its flowers at the very beginning. But I feel like
they spat in everybody's face too when they cut and pasted FIFA year after year.
Yeah. I want what Cheesy is having, is what Cryptic said. You don't want what I'm having. I'm under the weather. But yeah, no, I think it's, as far as like kind of what Johnny was saying, with newer games, it's probably going to be an issue. Maybe we're assuming just because that's how Nintendo is, but I think it's going to be better than what we have now, and that should be enough. Like the Nintendo games are going to be fun regardless because that's just what Nintendo does. And like you were saying, like ray tracing in Mario Kart, if they show off some of like the detail that they showed in the Mario movie, that would be so cool. But I don't know. I guess I don't really have like enough thoughts on how it should run because like if the game is fun, great. I mean, that's how I feel about Paper Mario running at 30 frames per second or whatever. Like, is it still a fun game? Awesome.
It's not what it originally was, though, on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Can't cat call a Goomba.
So
I just want it so Elden Ring comes to the Switch successor, and then Cheesy could actually play a real Souls-like.
That's what June this year is when we're getting DLC, right?
Yeah, they were probably gonna launch side by side, and Nintendo delayed it.
Nate's talking about like, it's somewhat of a crash, right? That we might be, and so I wanted to pull up like what do the charts show, right? Gaming is at last year was up 7% to the highest it's ever been at $190 billion in total.
But not new games.
And in 2022, I'm sorry, I think I said last year. That was 2021. 2020 gaming saw a 20% increase up to 177 billion. Another 7 in 2021.
Panini bump.
2022 dropped 4% to 183 billion. So I think those of us that are really in the space, like, and we, we're very hands-on with all this stuff and we see it, like we're watching the gaming landscape completely change. Studios are being closed. The generations underneath us are not buying these games. They're not. They're playing Fortnite. They're playing Call of Duty. They're playing Valorant. A lot of them, like even my kids, mostly playing PC games. Right? They're not really, maybe like one of them plays Destiny. One of them is really into Valorant right now. Like there's tons of gaming happening and tons of money is moving. Where it's not is where we are used to seeing it move, and that is with consoles, and that is with games at retail and all that kind of stuff. It's not.
I don't know though. Those financials that came out for Nintendo, at least, they have made more profit in the Switch era than they did before the Switch era combined. So like from 1985 to 2016, they made more profit in the Switch era than that whole time combined. So I think people like casuals are buying Switch games.
Well, and just the general acceptance of the hobby has grown exponentially from that original time point.
Nate says people are more mouth than action, and mouths are always bigger than wallets. Yeah. And I mean, I don't think, even to see it drop like 4% at 183 billion in 2022, like that's still insane. Now, what does 2023 look like? What does 2024 look like? Because, it's been crickets from a lot of from kind of everybody, other than like everybody wanted to play Helldivers for Democracy, and even that had a
and then
massive
Sony decided to.
There.
We don't like money and good reviews on Steam, so let's find a way to screw that up.
Yeah.
It got delisted in like 160 some odd countries, and
it's everything is strange. Everything everything is strange, and Nintendo is clearly doing everything right. Talking about like game development's going to take longer. It's going to there was some quotes from the president talking about game development taking longer. And I think I have it right here. It's going to take, I just want to make sure I get the right one. That's oh, come on. I may have looked at it yesterday. So here it is. Nintendo president, game development will become even longer, more complex, and more sophisticated. Right? Which, I mean, that to me makes me think that they're going to be dipping their toes into what's possible graphically, right? And getting into newer technologies. The Switch was old when it launched, and look what they've been able to accomplish with it.
Well, and look back in the history of Call of Duty. Granted, they were on kind of an engine that they were able to kind of just churn it out, but they were making a game kind of start to finish in 3 years. They had 3 different studios doing a game each year. It took them 3 years to get a game out. And then around a little bit before COVID, that shifted kind of to 4 to 5 years to make a game start to finish. And now I think we're at like almost 7 to make a game start to finish, if you're starting from the ground up. But then you have some outliers like Hideo Kojima. He's gonna have like 3 games out here within like 4 years or something like that.
He just goes on Fiverr and hires.
He just gets big name actors.
Yeah, and then we have Perfect Dark sitting in whatever kind of purgatory that is.
Yep, that's Nate just talked about that right there.
See, a CG trailer 2 years ago, and now and nobody can seem to find a balance on burnout and just kind of overall vision, because they were having issues with didn't they bring in brought in people from, wasn't it a Square Enix studio? Who did Guardians of the Galaxy? Wasn't it some of those?
It's Crystal Dynamics.
Crystal Dynamics, yeah. Some of those or game managers, I think, from Crystal Dynamics, and they were having clashes at, what's the even name of that quadruple A studio or Xbox founded?
Oh, like we don't even remember, right? Like,
yeah. What is it?
It's not the Coalition. That's the Gears team.
No, that's the Gears studio.
I'd have to look it up.
But
I don't even remember anymore at this point. Like, they've announced that game so long ago. It's like,
and Nintendo's
remembers?
kind of going the opposite way, where like Xbox is closing Tango Gameworks and Arcane Austin and that kind of stuff, and Nintendo doesn't even want to tell us which of their studios is making the game until credits roll. Like, it's under embargo to the reviewers. Like, they're trying just to be Nintendo publishing, Nintendo game development, and have it just be this ambiguous, just massive team, and not be singled out. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're sharing a lot of assets. Like, we were expecting Xbox to share assets amongst each other, and I think they are, but it's not panning out very well for them right now.
Yeah. And Nintendo's focusing on people, right? Instead of acquisitions, they're focusing on bringing up people to really understand what the identity and the Nintendo brand means, and means inside the company. It says he stated that he believes the further lengthening complexity and sophistication of game development is inevitable in the future, and that M&A is one possible means to address this, but added, first of all, we would like to develop human resources to understand Nintendo's brand well within the company, and who will be responsible for Nintendo's future development, along with developers who have built our brand over the years. So that's that's where their focus is. It's not about going out and getting these acquisitions. It's like the M&A is for mergers and acquisitions. It's not what it's about. They want to keep the brand and the integrity that's there. Even though I wish they would step up and use some of that money to buy IP like Time Splitters and stuff that shined on the GameCube. That would be a great addition to, you know, it. I was thinking about it the other day, and it drives me crazy that when they sold Rare, they gave up like the Perfect Dark IP. Like I wish that was still. That would have been Nintendo's answer to their like mainline first person shooter, and Metroid could have been their action shooter, you know, or their adventure shooter. I mean, and so. It's a bummer that they haven't filled that spot again. I mean, Splatoon is third person, not first, so that, you know, there's still a difference there. We got a shooter at least, but it is a strange time in gaming. There's no question. Watching everything going on, the layoffs have been just insanity for the last year, and watching. You know, and then seeing so many weird tweets about people feeling sorry for Phil Spencer. You're just like, are you for real? Like, this is a leadership problem, right? And this is the reason Nintendo, I believe, does so well. One of the reasons they told the Mario Wonder team, you don't have a deadline. Get it done when you get it done. You know, Retro hasn't made a game in 15 years, but we know they have worked on
trash
things.
now. Did you see
like,
that? Mario Wonder's trash.
Oh, is it?
Only 12 million units sold or something like that.
Well, no, it's actually mid.
Oh, interesting.
That's what everybody on Twitter's saying now.
The internet turned on it, huh? That's wild. People are crazy. But they allow their developers to put out, like, Xbox is like, get Redfall out. It wasn't ready. Like, it clearly wasn't ready.
And that game's never going to get
down the studio.
an offline mode that they were working on.
Yeah. It's just super unfortunate. And it's like, you know, Nintendo's former president, Iwata, right? He's like, I'm gonna take a cut so that we don't lose people. You don't see that happening with these other companies. It's just the blood, sweat, and tears that go into making these games what they are the ones taking the brunt, and it's just it's really frustrating, and especially for games like Hi-Fi Rush. You know, these studios are built on dreams, and then corporations are just crushing them.
Working on another game, like
they were at least working on a pitch for the sequel.
Well, I thought, what's their horror game or whatever?
Evil Within.
Yeah, didn't they have the sequel like kind of locked and loaded? Like they were working on that. I thought.
I don't know. Microsoft looks terrible because there's all these clips of like Phil Spencer saying, you know, we need studios like Tango. You know, everybody thought that they were making Evil Within 3, but, you know, they actually were making Hi-Fi Rush, and that's awesome. And I don't want to hamper their creative process. And now, you know, they're shutting down these studios.
Yeah.
Well, and then Sony complaining that they aren't making a profit with 8 million units sold of Spider-Man because the budget ballooned to 300 million or whatever it was to make that game.
Yeah, maybe Insomniac makes great games, but maybe they need to like manage their money better.
Crimpus says, Crimpus Chrome, Japanese work culture is different to Western, and no question there. And Doug T makes a good point, like on the opposite side. So did Xbox force out Redfall early because of budget reasons, or did they know it was junk and just wanted it to get done and move on? And that's very possible too.
Well,
like
if that was the case, they need to take a page out of what Square is doing, where Square is just canceling games and throwing them away. I mean, similar to what Warner Brothers did with a few of their movies. Like, there's a Batgirl movie shot and canned, like that they just threw it away. I mean, if they think something is trash, just throw it away, I guess. And
Well, not
maybe,
that. Look at Prime 4. It was trash. Nintendo said, no,
yep,
we're putting this back in the
restart.
hands of people that can.
And they were clear about it too.
Yeah.
And 7 years later, we're still waiting.
Was that January of 2019? 18? 19?
It was 2019.
As
The
long as it's good.
We've had a logo for a long time on that game.
My pre-order still goes back to the old Best Buy club.
I don't know if my pre-order did Best Buy cancel all those. I don't even know if I've looked through my account and I can't find the history of it. I know I ordered it before with the $10 discount or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Retro Studios is weird. They don't put out like any games, but they're still allowed to be around.
They will have a Donkey Kong game for next year. I guarantee it. I don't want to bet anything on it, but I
How many chips are we eating next year?
like that just makes sense with the Epic Universe opening. Like have a game.
Well, there
ready
was
for
that
it.
rumor that Activision, I don't know if we talked about it, but Activision had, was it Toys for Bob?
Oh yeah, the grinding on banana peels or whatever.
There was apparently a Donkey Kong game in development at Activision, and they canned it.
Pretty interesting to drop that. Like that was. Did I go? Was it? I didn't read too much into the article. Was it for Switch?
It was for Switch, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what happened there. But maybe it's the kind of situation where they were like, Nintendo doesn't mess with their IP. Like Mario plus Rabbids would not have happened if Nintendo wasn't pleased with what they were seeing. Right? And then the second one they even recommended not putting out. So, yeah.
Vicarious Visions apparently was working on a 3D Mario or a 3D Donkey Kong game, but they got moved on to like Call of Duty or something.
Yeah, they became a support studio on Call of Duty.
So maybe it was doing just fine, but they just didn't have the. And I wonder if that was a Microsoft thing. Potentially.
After only 6 months, so it wasn't in development that long.
Got
It
it.
was canceled in 2016, so this was even before
It's
the
way
Switch
back.
was out.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
they didn't think that it was gonna sell well. So,
and that could have been just weird that late into the Wii U's life cycle that a third party started working on something like that and then it just went away. Like that's just such a
didn't
bizarre.
they had a deal back with Skylanders with Donkey Kong
and Bowser.
and Bowser, and that was Activision. So maybe that was part of like the deal.
Did Skylanders come out? Did Toys to Life with Skylanders come out before Amiibo?
I don't
It was
know, but
around
I
the
know
same
those two
time.
are Amiibo. Those two are technically Amiibo. They're the only ones not in my collection.
If we don't see a Donkey Kong game soon, I don't know what is going on.
They're loading. Everything's being loaded up because the Donkey Kong game next year would be a perfect fit. You know,
This better be the best launch lineup that we've ever seen.
or Johnny's TikTok is gonna be.
Or I'm not buying it.
That's a lie.
Well, I mean, because PlayStation and Xbox did not have, they didn't have titles, and
Demon's
and
Souls,
their fallback was launch window, right? Like how far after PS5 did Ratchet and Clank come out?
It was like summer of the next year.
And
Yeah.
that didn't even sell well.
They had Miles Morales at launch.
But that was a PS4 game. And they had that, and Sony
Did they have
still has that.
Returnal?
Returnal's PS5. Yeah.
They had Demon Souls. I know that.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting time. Well, we're just about that hour and a half mark. We're going to go ahead and put a bow on this thing. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you're here with us live, we're going to take a quick break and fire the stream back up, and we're going to be doing some let's plays here and I have a feeling there's going to be some laughs. So if you want to hang out for that, feel free. If you're watching this and you want to check those Let's Plays out, they will be up on the Nintendo Powercast YouTube channel as well. So, and if you guys could tell Crawler to quit yawning while I'm talking, that would be awesome because I can barely hold it back. So much love, everybody, and we will see you in the next one. Bye now.